Welcome back, everybody, to Ascension with Sam. We're going to be doing a little energy report for mid-August. It's kind of crazy to say mid-August when I still feel like August just started. Where did August go? It's bizarre. Beyond bizarre, but beyond crazy, and yet so magical, because there's so many things rapidly happening that continue to support us and bringing us back into alignment, into a deeper alignment, deeper sense of alignments. Things that would have taken a lot longer. I know it's a little hard to wrap our minds around that, but things before took years and decades. And now, with so many things happening very fast and quickly, it's taking months, sometimes just weeks. Now there are processes, or like series of processes that do take the months, do take the years, but everything is happening a lot faster than before. So we're continuing to see so many different things changing, and I want to invite you to continually see the changes that are going around you, that are going on inside of you as well. Inside of you will always be the biggest key. Can you see? Can you sense? Can you feel that there's a lot going on inside of you? Okay, sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it's intense. Sometimes feels like it's too much. Sometimes it's like, what the hell's going on? A lot of things do come out of nowhere. So a lot of things that just kind of come in and out. There's a lot of things in the body. There's a lot of newness. I've been feeling that, sensing that for maybe for maybe over a year, but for sure this year. A lot of new sensations, a lot of new intense, like there's a heightened level of intensity that's also happening. There's a lot of things, a lot of different pains that just happen that just come up out of, quote unquote, out of nowhere, but of course that's not the case. And the list goes on and on and on and on and on. One of the things that even for me, I haven't been as quite consistent, but I do invite you guys to write some of your body experiences down. Write some of what happens, as detailed as you want, but it will support. And you'll start to see patterns. You'll start to see some patterns. You'll start to see that your body will go through a certain level of intensity or certain processes during certain times of the year, at certain months. So this past week, no, 2 weeks now, or actually last week, I don't even know. Last week, I went through like this humongous sensation of allergy. And I remember distinctly that I went through that very similar experience back in February. So if we were to break the year in two parts, we have January being the first month of the year, February being the second. It hit me in the second month, and if we would take July as the first month of the second half of the year, then it's like totally on point. So I get kind of hit with the same energetic, with the same physical upgrade the second month of the second half of the year. And it didn't dawn on me until I was in it, that I was like, I've gone through this before. Now with the allergy sensation, that's also been a very interesting journey for me, because I never went through allergies ever, until I distinctly remember back in like 2016, 2017, all of a sudden I'm like, I'm going through these like deep allergic sensations. And it was bizarre, because I was like, I've never been like this. I've been living, at the time I had been living in Texas for over 14, 15 years. I never had this allergic reaction to anything. Not like other people had experienced. So it's very interesting that, like, right after my awakening, my body starts to react and respond to different energies and different frequencies, and all of a sudden it's like sneezing my head off, tons of mucus, and I was just like, wow, so interesting and bizarre that I'm going through this when I never went through that. So I remember going through that, and then I don't know how long it lasted, but it was like pretty short-lived. I don't quite remember. I want to say that it happened again between 2015 and 2020. But it hadn't hit me since then. So this February, I was like, wow, it's been quite a bit of years since I had felt that allergy sensation. Took me completely down. I was down for days. Same thing last week. In fact, I started to feel it like Monday. Wednesday really hit me. Thursday, I was completely out. I had to cancel camp on Friday. And I was like, okay, let me just rest the whole weekend. So definitely got better. And then I got a little bit of the frequency light upgrade. Come Monday, so I had a lot of mucus going on. And stuff. And the other interesting thing that I had been noticing is my kids, my students from camp, they are also going through allergies. So I had some of them that were going at the same time, and some of them have ended their allergy phase, but some of them are still going on. So I have my roller paper, and they're always blowing nose, they're sneezing, and it's like, okay, kids are feeling this too. And you guys remember this, kids are feeling these energies. Kids, adolescent, teenagers, young adults, they're feeling these very strong frequencies. Their bodies are feeling it. They will feel it in different ways. They will feel it in different intensities. But they are also going through it. Really, really going through it. So just remember that. Observe. Connect to their soul, connect to their light body to see what will support them. And kind of gauge into, what's going on. One of the exciting things that will be that we're all in this. We're all in the journey of connecting back to spirit, connecting deeper with spirit, and we're also in the midst of one of the biggest transitions collectively and within the human race, where we're also seeing, and we're also going to be in the midst of allowing kids and allowing teenagers to deepen their connection to spirit. There's a lot to this. Kids do come with kids are at some level more connected, which is one of the reasons why it's so important to be super open to what they do, what they say, how they react, how they respond, how their bodies respond to certain things, because they're usually way more connected. So whatever they do, whatever they say, it's not just, they don't just say it to say it. There's a purpose. There is a very big message that they're trying to say, that they're trying to convey. They're also huge activators, humongous triggers. And it's really, really important to really keep this in the forefront. Everything that kids do, everything that teenagers do is meant to trigger our deepest wounds, our deepest fears, our most subconscious programs. And the more that we allow ourselves to open up and remember them, the more we're going to appreciate them, and the easier it's going to be to connect with them, and the easier it's going to be for us to navigate this phase with them, navigate this process with them. So August has been the energy that came through was quite explosive, in many different ways. For me, it was more internally, like so many things being flushed out. But there is this root clearing going on too, a lot of gut clearing going on. We're in the middle of the fire season, fiery, creative Leo season. So there's gonna be a lot of inspiration. There's gonna be a lot of ignition. Ignition of our dreams, ignition of our desires. There is this fuel that's being lit that will support us in creatively expanding our dreams, our desires, our projects, our business, our work, ourselves. The energy that comes through it's important to really feel into it, because it does take time for your body to process it. So there is everyone will go through this in a different in their own way, depending on what they're working on. But I see this recurring theme over and over about allowing more of the frequencies to come through, allowing yourself to work through deeper levels of your own internal fears and doubts, allowing yourself to go through your own internal process as a way to allow everything else to realign. So while there will be a moment where like, okay, let's push through this, let's really, not allow the ego to just kind of cruise when it's not time for the ego to cruise. It's time for the higher self to just go. There will be a moment where we do have to like, okay, just be patient. Everything's aligning itself. You need to get better. And it even happened this week where I was talking to a friend and I was like, hey, how's it going? When can we talk? And it wasn't, timing wasn't aligning. And so I was like, chill, Samantha. You still need to go through whatever your body's going through. You need to honor that. Let yourself honor the timing. Let your body go through, the rest of the clearing and the cleansing. Everything, there's still pieces that need to align. And you can't rush this. And I've, time and time again, it's been in the forefront of like, cannot rush this. Everything has to be highest aligned. You have to be highest aligned. Your partner, your partnerships, your partners, your colleagues, whoever is working with you also has to be highest aligned too. And it's a process and it takes time. And so while we are getting all of these different inspirations, all of these ideas, all of these visions, really work with visions. In fact, there's something really neat that I got from I was reading a marketing book that I never finished. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, just read it again. And I'm actually very close to finish it. I haven't actually finished it, but there's a part that I love, that I've been in love with, the vision part. When we talk about the newness of this new world, new consciousness, new earth, 5D and above, it will support as we go through this process and see what we want, what we envision. And it could be the quote-unquote smallest thing that's not small, but our minds quantify things as small and big. Everything's big. In fact, everything's huge. So I'm going to say small, huge. And when I started to do this and I started to really get detailed, to really get like specific on things, I realized, oh my gosh, there's so much. And it offers me the consciousness to really know this is long term. Our minds get so caught up with the time. Our minds get so caught up with, are we here? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Guys, you have to really see that this will take decades. breathe. Doesn't matter how long you choose to stay. What matters more is that you choose to live. However long you decide to be here in this physical body. Can you live in this now? Can you really be present with everything that's going on right now? Can you give yourself the opportunity to feel? That's what's important. We've got 25 years until 2050. We've got, give or take, around that time to completely change everything. And back to what I was saying about the vision. What do you envision? We kind of get caught in like the bigger picture, but I want to bring you back to right here, right now, in your world, in your reality, in your home. And that's a whole course within itself. But allowing yourself to envision, allowing yourself to play with your imagination, allow your higher self to show you more. Allow yourself to go through whatever you still need to go through in order to allow the deeper alignments. August is going to offer us an opportunity to really catapult a lot of things internally, energetically. And remember that we're coming into September. September is the 9th month of the year. September is going to be huge, by the way, and so on, like forever on. But we have the ninth month of the year coupled with the 9 universal year, and then we have like 3 big portal days, that equal 9. And then we also have this portal of rebirth. Portal of rebirth, where everything that's been in the gestation process for the last 9 years is going to start coming into fruition. So I've got a lot of energies, a lot of frequencies, a lot of things to clear up, a lot of things to feel, a lot of things that will start blooming, that will start blossoming, a lot of things that will get started, there's a lot of again, with the visions, with the ideas, with projects, with businesses that you guys have been envisioning or feeling into for the last 9 months. There's going to be a new sense of renewal. There's going to be a rebirth, a sense of finally, it's picking up, or it's finally getting off the ground, or finally starting it. And at the same time there's going to be a lot of new ones that come through. This is a continual, forever process of allowing more new things to come through, allowing more and more and more, and simultaneously allowing more of the old stuff to to close. It's going to be a big closures and completions, a lot of endings in so many different ways. A lot of this is it. A lot of drawing the line in the sand. A lot of resolutions. A lot of new paths being taken. A lot of forks in the road and deciding to go into the higher paths. There's going to be a lot of boldness, bold steps, bold decisions, bold undertakings, bold startups, bold decisions. I've said that already. Bold things that we start to do, that we start to focus on, that we've never done before. Things that we might have done before, but we're doing it in a completely different energy, from a completely different aspect. We're going to start taking more roles as you continue to expand, as you continue to embody new aspects, as you continue to birth more higher light aspects. There's going to be more to do. And boy, oh boy, has that been kind of a big realization, for the last 2 months, where it's been like, I have not been, well, it's so funny because there's been moments here and there for the past actually 2 years where I've had like, I've had moments, I've had, like 2-week periods, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3-week periods where it has felt like very accelerated, very, very busy. And so I remember the first one was actually December 2023. And then, oh, interesting. And then it happened again November, so last year, 2024. And then I had little like glimpses in December. I had a little bits of like little bits, weeks in December, and then in January. And then it stopped, and then it picked up again last month. So a lot of movement, a lot of momentum, a lot of things that just kind of came into my reality that were like, yes, you have to do this. Yes, you do have to do the summer camp. Yes, you do have to stay with your English classes in the evenings. And then I had a new student come in, and then I went down, and then it's been kind of wild couple months, or month, and I know it's preparing. I know it's preparing me. I know it's preparing us. I know we're going to continually be pushed beyond what we think, what we think our limits are. But remember that your light body can take so much more than your old carbon-based body. So there's a lot more things that your light body can do as long as they're highest aligned. And allowing yourself to flow, allowing yourself to feel into what stays, what goes, what shifts, what needs to be reassessed. I mean, I'm having to do this within my own within my, ascension work too. And just feeling into things and realizing that everything has to change. I have to allow the change. I have to allow the different shifts in focus. And it's all part of the process. It's all necessary. It's all supportive. It really is just a part of the journey. The mind gets caught up with wanting to do the same thing in the same way all the time because it was comfortable with it. The linear mind thinks, well, this is energy work. This is part of the ascension work. It has to be part of my mission, and I have to do it in this exact way. The linear mind gets caught up with, oh, well, I'll never do this. I'll never be able to do it in this way, or I'll never, all this waste of time. Like, your linear mind gets so caught up in so many different things. Okay. This is not about following your linear mind anymore. This is not about believing in your linear mind. This is not about doing anything with your linear mind anymore. This is about continually trusting and allowing the flow and the change of everything. Just because this is changing, just because this is, no longer longest aligned, doesn't mean that you'll never do it again. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that, it wasn't part of your purpose at one point. It doesn't mean that it didn't serve a purpose. It doesn't mean that you have to stop it completely forever and ever. Everything has to change. And for some things to change, sometimes we have to stop doing them. Once we stop doing certain things, we get the opportunity to step back from it and look at it from a different angle, look at it from a different perspective, get a wider view, right? Get a bird's eye view of what is it that we're doing? What's the purpose? What's the intention? Why am I even doing this? Right? What's the what's been the underlying intention too? There is a higher self intention, but we also have to remember that there's always going to be an underlying intention to things too. And we have to be completely and totally honest with ourselves with it when it comes to this. It might be hard at the beginning. It might be completely crushing. And I went through that almost 3 years ago, where I finally got to see the underlying intention of what I had been doing. And boy, oh boy, it was not pretty. It was actually one of the most heart-shattering experiences and realizations. But it was the most freeing thing too for me. I had to own it. I had to see it. I had to sit with it for over a year. It was that intense. And I had to be willing to let a lot of things go, close a lot of things, end a lot of things, and just start new and start fresh. And at some point, everyone is going to have to do that at some level. No, it's not easy. Your ego will be furious. It will throw a fit. But the more you allow your higher self to take over, the more you allow yourself to trust in your higher self light, the easier it's going to be. And it won't matter how long it takes. It won't matter how much you have to dissolve. It won't matter how much you have to change. And we have to continually be in that assessment, reassessing things, reevaluating things. Just because you're doing things within the world of energetics, within the world of healing, within the world of ascension, doesn't mean that the way that you're doing it is the highest and most highest aligned and is coming from your highest aspect. And that's a big one. It's a big energy to just feel into. It's a big energy to just sit with and be willing to see the underlying intention, like ego intention of everything that you've done up until this point. Okay, it will trigger obviously a lot. All kinds of things are going to come up to the surface. But the biggest thing to remember is that when we're talking about underlying intention and we're talking about which is ego's intention, there's going to be a mix of both. There's going to be a higher self intention in the mix, and there's going to be an underlying ego intention. Sometimes we'll go into certain aspects of our reality and we'll be like, oh my God, it's 50-50. Sometimes it's 40-60. Sometimes it's 20-80. Like, engage into how the percentage. And even if something's like, oh, well, the underlying intention is only 20%, and it's, this part is, and the majority is 80%, you still have to look at the 20%. That may be enough for you to completely stop everything and start fresh, or start new, or start some things from scratch. You just have to feel into this. Everyone is going to go through their own process. Everyone will have to go through their own journeys. And the biggest thing that I can share is that the more that you open up to this and the more that you consciously go into this and know that this is part of the process, the easier it's going to be. So, we are ready for the second half of August. Whether you've been feeling like the first half as like you were in cruise control, the second half may not be as much, and vice versa. If you've been feeling kind of the intensity of the first half, you might feel the second half of August will be a little bit more in cruise control. However, and when whatever the case may be, the frequencies will continue to intensify and will continue to prepare us for the big bang. Will be September because of the 9, but then that will be also a platform that will launch us into October, November, December, which will be a big, huge end of this linear year. So breathe, flow, continue to stay present and continue to observe when you're not present, when you're not here, when you're escaping, when you're resisting, when you're fighting, when you're angry. It's all about becoming more conscious, because when we don't know where we are, and when we're not conscious of the emotional energy that's going on inside, we allow the emotional energy and the ego to take over. So one of the biggest things is to become more conscious of where you are, what's happening inside of you, what's happening at certain levels, so that you can breathe more light And that undoubtedly will allow you to have a smoother experience and will allow you to clear more stuff. So remember to breathe. Remember to flow. Remember everything has a purpose and everything really truly is supporting you. The more that you open up and the more you remember that you are enough and that everything is meant to support you, the more you allow yourself to see how truly everything is supporting you. So, sending you lots of love, huge wave of gratitude and support. And until next time.